You have a 2-minute opening statement before questions.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. As I mentioned before, my name is J Stan McCauley, and I come before you tonight to ask to be considered as your candidate for mayor here in the greatest city on earth, Hartford, Connecticut, New England's rising star. I believe that Hartford is indeed at a crossroads. We are going to have an opportunity to make a real difference in the direction that Hartford goes. And this election will be like no other election in Hartford's recent history, because for the first time, the citizens of this city will have an opportunity to choose who their next mayor is going to be in terms of providing for them a vision that is set apart from, if I might say, the machine, so to speak. You will find that the citizens are extremely engaged in what's going on in this city. And so tonight, I look forward to answering whatever questions that might come my way so that I can provide you with adequate insight as to how I think and process information.
Thank you. Thank you. What are the 3 most significant public safety, quality of life issues facing the city, and what solution do you propose for them?
Quality of life issues. 3 most significant ones. Blight, trash, and gunshots. Not necessarily in that order. Recently, I relocated by choice to 294 Enfield Street, right where Winchester is 1 block from Westland. Some thought I was crazy for moving there, but part of my economic redevelopment plan for the city includes focusing job opportunities to what I believe is been a long neglected part of the community in the North End. And so I feel that if you're going to make an impact and a difference in a community, you have to start off by being in the community. There's a difference living downtown or over in Coltville in what one might call a gated community, and living where you open your windows and hear folks screaming at the top of their lungs because someone used their beauty cream in the tub, and the hood is that real. Gunshots the other night I heard the Martin Street gunshot fight. I think over the last 4 weeks since I've lived there, I've heard probably 7 or 8 times when gunshots have gone off. Some would say that this is a circumstance of living situations, a victim of lifestyle. I disagree with that because for myself and my neighbors who are not involved in gunshots, drug trade, or anything else, this lifestyle is not our lifestyle. This is a lifestyle in which we are forced to have to deal with because that's in our community. So the gunshots are a significant problem. I think this is something that is a leadership issue at the end of the day, because this has to do with how you deploy your policing strategies and your police force. I think to that end, we need to rethink how we are going about that. I mentioned litter. I had occasion to watch the St. Patrick's Day parade, and it was very interesting that there was almost ankle-deep trash in the city, downtown after the parade. Trash is a byproduct of human beings. Where there are people, there is trash. And there's always going to be trash. The old adage of, don't put your trash in my backyard. Well, human beings create trash. The miracle is that by midnight, the trash was gone, because people clean up after one another and you deploy resources to get this trash up. In many communities around the city, we have litter, and it just is there. So I think what we need to do is have a way that we deal with this litter. Perhaps when Public Works picks up the trash, they can deploy the resources necessary to do street sweeping in a more accurate and a more adequate way. Blight is a huge issue in the city. From my window, I can look out and see some blighted buildings that I'm told at one time were very nice. Right there on Winchester, when you come down, Enfield, there's a little brick condo type, low-income thing there that's just rotten away. What is it, 280? 280 Enfield, there you go. You know the neighborhood, there we go. All right, one Hartford, one neighborhood, one people. Having said that, I have a plan, not an idea, not a vision, plan to deal with blight, where we take reentry individuals and we have them rehab buildings and houses around the city. And we use those as incentives to have people that are the line employees, not necessarily working for the mayor, but there's your regular employees, your police officers, fire, and teaching staff.
I don't want to stop you, but you're using up 5 minutes for one question, so you...
Oh, okay.
You only got 15 minutes.
Okay. I'm good. If you're good.
I'm good.
All right.
If you're good. What plans do you have to develop some incentive to attract city employees to live in Hartford?
Now, one question ahead of you. My anti-blight program is the program that I have as an incentive. With that anti-blight program, what happens is, like I said, you give reentry individuals opportunity to rehab house. They get quality skills. And the houses that they get to rehab, one house goes to the individuals who put this sweat equity to sell. The money they make, they keep. Plain and simple. They are now vested in the community, and the community starts to turn around because they're going to make sure that their investment of sweat equity doesn't lose value. It brings up houses. That house then becomes something that is of value to them. The other house, on the other hand, becomes city property and can now be used to attract either teachers, firemen, or police officers into the community. Now, the legalities of all that and all of the details need to be worked out, but I think that that is my plan as an incentive to get people to live in the city that work here.
Thank you. The office of the mayor appoints a majority of the members of the Board of Education pursuant to charter. What specific characteristics, both professional and community-based, will you require for your appointments?
I want individuals who have children as their heart, who are interested in a return on investment, and that investment being, our tax dollars that go for educating students. As far as I'm concerned, the policies that are set by the board members have to be grounded in young people being educated, period. They've got to be educated. So I'm going to look for professionals who are educators, who can bring qualities to the decision-making, policy-setting body that are not in lockstep with my thinking, but are in lockstep with education. I would try my very best to find people in the community that are, I'd say, from college level in terms of educators, because they know what you are looking for in terms of entry into college.
Thank you. Please characterize the manner you will interact with the Hartford Democratic Town Committee from whom you are seeking an endorsement to ensure that the needs, problems, and concerns of the city's citizens are addressed?
I've said this in the interviews that I've had with the individual town committees in districts. I think that the town committee is probably the most essential part of our democratic process here in the city of Hartford. If you have a dysfunctional town committee, then you're going to have a dysfunctional Hartford government. I've been quoted as saying that Hartford suffers from malfeasance, nonfeasance, misfeasance, and stupidity. I don't say that to be mean, I say that as an observation. At the end of the day, the town committee represents the electorate. I'm a voter. The town committee represents me. Those of you out here that have taken the time to come out are members of the town committee. Some of the town committee members aren't here. That means that there is fraction and a disconnect somewhere. I think that my role as mayor will be to strengthen the town committee to be able to be effective in representing the constituents that have elected them to represent them, so that they start to operate as elected officials who are going to hold accountable the people whom they nominate to be in a position of leadership and policy setting here in the city. I think that the individuals that make up the town committee are some of the individuals who I need to hear from in terms of what this community needs. And my job is the chief representative of the electorate, of the people. And so the town committee, in theory, is the voice of those people. I will always have an open line to the town committee. I've had an open line to the citizens of Hartford for over 15 years. My number's been published. If there's a problem, they should be able to call their mayor. I don't think that it puts me out to take a call from a town committee member to hear about an issue. And I think that if that happens, we can really move the city forward. I will say this, that this election being one of the most important elections in Hartford's history, everyone's watching what the town committee does. This endorsement is going to set the town committee tone for not only the state, but those around the country, and I would even say around the world, because the people I have relationships with in the entertainment industry are watching with eagle eyes as to what happens on the level of town committee. You all will make the first vote in this democracy.
Thank you. Due to the weather and utility companies' work on city streets have fallen into disrepair. What would you do to ensure the repairs are done properly, and as well as properly, and Hartford-based vendors have a chance to do some of the work?
Stan, you also have 4 minutes, 36 seconds.
Okay, thank you. Well, I know the MDC is tearing up the streets. As far as I'm concerned, if they're going to tear them up, they need to fix them. They need to be held accountable. You can't tear up a street and fix it, then we're going to have, if I have to get the federal government to come in here and find out why, then that's what we will do. It's inexcusable. I was campaigning the other day on Ridgefield Street, and someone took the manhole up and misaligned the yellow lines. If I'd have had the strength with my little 145-pound self, I'd have gone out there and realigned the manhole cover. This is a leadership issue. This is not rocket science. The people who are supposed to be doing their job need to do their job. The ones that can't need to find somewhere else to work.
What specific things will you do to assist the Hartford legislative delegation in achieving legislative goals for the city, such as anti-drug legislation?
Well, I want to work closely with our delegation and also our city council. We should be on the same page when it comes to issues such as redlining and moving those agendas forward. I think that to work together with not only our delegation, but also urban centers around the state would give us much more clout that we'd be able to go up to Capitol Hill and really address that issue as a united front, because most certainly that is grossly unfair. Now, I would, with my legislative liaison, work on policies that would move that forward. And most certainly, I think the major thing that we need to do working with our delegation is having open lines of communication and at the very least opportunities to sit down monthly to talk about overall legislative agendas that move the city forward.
Do you support Connecticut Regional Education Council Public Safety Academy moving the city of Hartford? And what specifically would you do to help accomplish this?
I do support that, and I would do everything that I can do in terms of the power of the mayor's office to make it happen. I'd use the full force of my office.
Many residency requirements, which are in the ordinance presently, are ignored or waived. Will you insist that new department heads and their deputies reside within the city?
Yes, as a condition of employment. Anyone that works for the mayor, as a condition of employment, will be a Hartford resident before they get a paycheck, period. If they serve at the pleasure of the mayor. If you want to work at Boeing in Seattle, you got to move to Seattle. If Hartford is good enough to get a paycheck, then it's good enough to live in. It's a pet peeve of mine that people who are setting policy that affects this city don't live here. It is unacceptable by any stretch of the imagination, and anyone that works for me will live in the city, and when they decide they want to move, they can tender their resignation.
The Hartford City Charter has, for many positions, or critical positions within the city hierarchy, appointments made by the mayor that have to be ratified by the council. In the past, we have seen department heads appointed, and those appointments can be maintained for 90 days before ratification. And the appointments are made without first consultation with the council. Do you commit to consultation with the council before making said appointments and working with them to fill those positions?
I make that commitment wholeheartedly. I am one who believes that as the mayor, I am an employee of the people. Hartford is not my private company. I have my own television production company. It is my way or the highway. But as mayor, it is your way or I'm gone. And that's how it should be. I think that if I find people who are qualified to hold the positions of department heads that need to be ratified by the city council, if I find those people and those people have been vetted, then the last vetting process is approval by city council. If they fail that approval process, then I need to find a different set of people. This is not rocket science. This is a matter of following the rules of the charter and making sure that it's done.
Thank you. Time remaining?
1 minute.
Do you support moving the Craig Public Safety Academy to
We'll give you a little more time on the clock for that. How do you plan to work with the treasurer and the city council to pressure Hartford-based companies to continue or increase investment in the city?
That's a good question. All things one does not know. And I think that when you're not good at something, you need to ante up on that. I would sit down and I would listen to the counsel of the treasurer, the city council, and I would bring my bright ideas and we would all work together on that one. I don't have a plan off the top of my head, but I'm sure we could sit together and think of one. I can think of other ways to pressure city businesses to do their part as residents of the city of Hartford. And one of my ways to do that would be bringing companies to Hartford that are socially responsible, who are going to do their part as civic citizens to contribute to Hartford's economic base. But I did have the opportunity to listen to the candidates for treasurer, and I think that what one of the candidates said in terms of, you know, if we invest our money in your bank, then you need to do your due diligence in investing here in Hartford, in our citizens and things along that line.
Thank you very much. Now please move to your 3-minute closing statement.
3-minute closing statement, okay. Well, first, let me thank you for the opportunity to come here tonight and seek the Democratic Town Committee's nomination. Those of you that are in this room, I know most of you. I've seen most of you. I've done stuff with most of you. My life has pretty much been dedicated to giving people a voice here in the city. But my background is out of engineering and aviation, maintenance technology, and quality assurance, and motion picture making, all of which take a plan. And a lot of people are going to talk about their vision for Hartford. Well, at the end of the day, vision is an assessment of what is wrong and coming up with a solution to correct those problems. A lot of people are going to talk about promises. Well, some might even infer that I am making promises. I don't like to make promises. I like to keep my word. I have someone who wants to invest in Hartford. I've leveraged a relationship with a global entertainment company that is willing to come to Hartford. I've been on the phone with them all week, and they are willing to risk coming to a city when other businesses are leaving. But they're not going to do it with a dysfunctional city government. Everyone is watching the capital city of Connecticut. So the question that this body needs to ask itself is, will they reflect the will of the people in selecting who is going to represent the Democratic Party in this upcoming election? I present myself, my family, and all that I have to be your servant, to work for you. I struggled tonight as to whether or not to cover this because there was going to be no television coverage. My wife is not at work, Stan's at work, and she's working for me tonight because my production company is covering this. The politically expedient thing for me would have been to leave my camera at home. But that's not fair to the people of Hartford. And I ask you to do what's in the best interest of the city, because until we all start making that kind of a sacrifice, Hartford will not be New England's rising star. It's up to you to make that decision, and I ask for your support. Thank you for the opportunity.
Hi, my name is Marlon E. Styler Sr. Many of you may know me as the two-time welterweight champion of the world. I'm here to tell you that Democrat J Stan McCauley, as our next mayor, will fight for you until the last bell. Help me throw a knockout punch. Go out and vote for Stan the Man.
My name is J Stan McCauley, and I approve this message.
My name is George Milner, and I support J Stan McCauley for mayor of Hartford.
My name is Sherelle Renee, and J Stan McCauley is my man for mayor.
We the city of Hartford, the city of heart. Why we keep hating each other, we falling apart. If we start loving each other, we healing our heart. Yo, we be the city of heart. Yo, we be the city of heart.